Meet GameDay Conor Geary, the charismatic and energetic host of UConn basketball. Conor Geary has mastered the art of rolling a T-shirt into the shape of a beer can, creating the density and aerodynamics needed for a proper toss into seats of Gampel Pavilion from the court below. "I promise, I'm not the laundry guy at my house," he said. Geary, even more importantly, also has perfected the modulation and creative approaches needed as the prevailing voice in UConn basketball arenas. The Huskies' in-game host for men's and women's games in Storrs and Hartford, GameDay Conor, does more than orchestrate frenzied shirt toss moments. He leads cheers, engages with fans, and makes announcements with flair, using loudspeakers to stir additional energy into the usual pageantry. Geary's performance joins the thump of hip-hop music, and the roars and murmurs of crowds exceeding 10,000. He holds the microphone to his mouth and rocks back and forth, creating a roller coaster of sound that has become a steady presence at every UConn game. "At home, I don't walk into my kitchen and go, 'Let's have a glass of orange juice,'" Geary said. "At home, I don't walk into my kitchen and go, 'Let's have a glass of orange juice.'" Geary, 36, is charismatic by nature and even more so, professionally, by necessity. A Manchester native who spent much of his childhood as a stage actor, he has been working UConn games since the 2018-19 season. He is also the in-game host for the Hartford Yard Goats, applying a similar shtick to minor league baseball every summer. During UConn games, Geary works with a script that is a 20-page skeleton, a condensed version of the event's complete run-of-show breakdown. There are mandatory sponsorship and marketing pitches, many of them needing to be read verbatim or just about. There's plenty of room for improvisation, though, opportunities for Geary to create a sight and sound platform that makes attending games about more than keeping up with the pace of play and the scoreboard. UConn students, "What's going on?" Quote. Geary yelled about 8 minutes before tip-off of a recent men's game, November 27 against New Hampshire at Gampel. "Everybody on your feet. Let's start things off right." Geary led the students section into the famous UConn Huskies chant. Later it was the UConn chant. For a 2-plus-hour work window that is particularly chaotic during game timeouts, he came and went from midcourt to a nearby tunnel in preparation for the next announcement, contest, cheer or promotion. Fans, per tradition, stand at the beginning of each half until the Huskies score, or, as goes Geary's signature, cascading rallying call goes, until the Huskies score, or. "This scratches a big itch for me," said Geary, who has a professional background in food and beverage services, and entertainment. He even worked as the first mascot in Yard Goats history back in 2017, one of his first adult steps into becoming what he is today, a minor celebrity among the most dedicated and present UConn basketball fans, with a rising profile in the Connecticut entertainment field. Geary is a contracted temporary special employee at UConn. He's not making killing doing what he's known for. There's no 401k involved, for example. It's a very visible part-time job. Geary works a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 office job in Bridgeport. That's what pays the bills. But by using a microphone the way Dan Hurley and Gino Orima use a clipboard, he is probably establishing a future as a full-time entertainer, host. In addition to UConn games, Geary has Connecticut Sun games and the NCAA Men's Lacrosse National Championships at East Hartford's Rentschler Field and Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. He's hosted games and events at most well-known Connecticut sports arenas and, more, is being hired to run corporate events as a host or auctioneer. His act isn't for everybody, because no act is. Geary quickly understood the sinking feeling of having fans call him out on social media during his first season. "I remember getting tagged. Criticism in a generally unconstructive way," Geary said. "It wasn't, 'modulate your voice.' It wasn't, 'you missed something.' To have it in a public forum and someone be like, 'You suck,' in so many words, was something I had never experienced before, and I was not at the time prepared to handle that because I didn't consider myself someone in the public eye, even though I clearly was. It did a few things. I tried harder to engage with people about the job and be more accessible so there wasn't a barrier. And I had people come to my defense. I say if you have suggestions, I'm open. Critics are few, though. Geary has become part of an increasingly successful and vibrant basketball community. He wears a men's national championship ring on the middle finger of his right hand during games, and his booming voice has been part of the home soundtrack as that program returned to the top of the college basketball mountain. He's equally energetic at women's games, leading, for example, blue-white cheers that divide the arena in a cheering competition. Sure, he once called Auriemma's team the Lady Huskies, a big no-no that he heard about almost immediately in his first season. Overall, he boosts the entertainment value for the UConn marketing department that he reports, adding a showman's touch to 2 elite basketball products. He interacts with many fans at both arenas, too. Some ask for his autograph. As a kid in Manchester, Geary was an active member of CAST, Children's Associated Summer Theatre. His family moved to East Hartford when he was in middle school and he graduated from East Catholic High in Manchester in 2005. He grew up a huge fan of both UConn basketball teams but preferred a private out-of-state school for his own education. He studied marketing and management with a minor in philosophy at Siena College, graduating in 2009. From there, Geary found his professional footing in the restaurant business, at different points working in Hartford as a manager at City Steam, where he ran the comedy club, Brouhaha, on Main Street and Ted's Montana Grill on Front Street. Duncan Park, home of the Yard Goats, opened in 2017 while Geary and his now wife were living in downtown Hartford. As a surprise for the 60th birthday of his father Dennis, Geary and family members sat in a dugout suite. It was one of the most enjoyable nights of Geary's life. After the game, he texted Yard Goats executive Tim Restall something to the effect of, "Whenever you have a job that fits what I do, let me know." After the 2017 season, Restall reached out. The Yard Goats wanted to revamp their non-game events at the stadium and needed somebody with a background in food and beverage. Geary was hired as Director of Event Services. In advance of the 2018 season, the Yard Goats were making a change for in-game entertainment. Another team executive on the creative side said to Geary, "You worked in a comedy club, right?" "Yes," he told her. Thanks for watching NY Sports News. Stay tuned for more updates.